Those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV, where we bring you educational information from top local experts in the fields of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Now sit back and listen to experts in family law, association law, hearing loss, business brokers, home care, along with many other topics. Now here are your hosts, Steve-O and Sophia.
Hey, good afternoon, Arizona, and welcome to another Ask the Expert show. This is our 16th year with doing Ask the Experts. Hey, we've got such a great show for you today, and we were so lucky. We found the top neuropathy doctor in the state of Arizona, and I have to share, we got a text from a doctor who's a chiropractor in New Mexico. First of all, I'm going to say good afternoon to Dr. SARS.
Good afternoon.
Yes. So we got a letter from a chiropractor in New Mexico who watched most of your shows, and he wants to go start treating neuropathy. And he said he was so intrigued by the information that you shared that he wanted to know how you got started in the neuropathy field. Pretty nice letter from chiropractor.
Well, as I've stated before, the primary reason was due to the fact that my mom suffered with it.
Yes.
That tried to find something to help her when she was still alive. Unfortunately, I never did. But because of that, I put out feelers and different things this way, and people started reaching out to me when there started to be an actual effective treatment for neuropathy, and started investigating it. Took me from the time that I figured out there was actually something that could be done. It took me 2 years to figure out how to implement it and then since then, over the last 17 years, that we've progressed as far as technology, knowledge, and that to the point that we're at today, where effectively 98% of the patients that we accept for care at this time can get at least a 65% reduction in their symptoms, and get a lot more than that.
Wow, that's amazing. We promote your show, and we've got probably about 20 or 25 text messages, people going, what is neuropathy? Does that surprise you that a lot of people don't even know what neuropathy is?
Yeah, because of the fact that it's a lot of times people will be told they have it, but they're not fully understanding what is actually happening. Neuropathy basically is a disease process, a secondary disease process. And what I mean by that is it is caused by something else. It does not start on its own. Average things that we think about is diabetes, chemotherapy, vitamin B12 deficiencies, but some other metabolic things can cause it. Statin drugs can also cause neuropathy. And what it does is it basically causes the cells at the ends of the nerves at the skin level, generally starting in the feet, sometimes in the hands, to actually recede deeper into the tissue, and then start developing symptoms of numbness, tingling, burning, because these nerves are no longer at the skin level. They're actually deeper in, and they start firing on their own. Very similar to possibly what an amputee might experience with phantom pains in a limb they no longer have.
Do you ever think about when you read about someone who fell in the shower, if they had neuropathy and didn't even know it? Because it does affect your balance.
It does, because those nerve endings, as I said, recede deeper into the tissue. So that happens on the sole of the foot also. So they're not getting the feedback back from their foot on knowing where to actually place it. Their proprioception becomes affected. They might feel like they're walking on a sponge or a piece of cardboard. The thing that, not just the balance issues, but it also can start to affect people's ability to actually drive, because they can't figure out whether their foot's on the gas or on the brake. That a lot of times that they don't see it quite as much. That is, we've got other things that are taking over the news, but a lot of times I've seen these vehicles that have driven into buildings, and the driver goes, "I swear my foot was on the brake."
Right.
Unfortunately, they don't know where their foot was at.
Oh my God, how sad. This is from Kelly in Tucson. She said neuropathy seems to have many different symptoms. Why is that?
Because of the fact that we've got different nerve endings that carry different sensations. And so, depending on which ones are actually involved at a particular time, your different people are going to have different symptoms. Some can have severe pain, others can have numbness and tingling. Some people will feel maybe like they're getting insect bites on their feet. They have a hypersensitivity because of the fact that not all the nerve endings are going to recede at the same time. So the ones that are there actually may become hypersensitive, trying to make up for the loss. And so some people have difficulty even having just the sheets touching their feet when they go to sleep at night.
Wow. I'm just kind of going down the list. Some of these are questions that have already been answered. Oh, here is Ron in Glendale. He wants to know, you said you have a 65% success rate. Why do you think some of the people don't have a 65% success rate?
Well, my success rate is actually 98%, but get at least a 65% improvement.
Okay.
But the reason that some people do not respond is the fact that there's a compound in our body called nitric oxide. And some people have an enzyme that actually will break nitric oxide down faster than we can actually repair it. Nitric oxide is the major signaling molecule that we have in our body for the dilation of blood vessels. And it is also responsible for the actual absorption of oxygen and nutrients at the cellular level. So it actually helps with healing. And some people's nitric oxide levels are too low, and they cannot be brought up with supplementation. There are a couple of simple supplements that can actually bring it up. That they found that just a beet supplement can actually improve it. But if they do produce this enzyme that breaks it down, some people, we can't build it up, and because of that, the nerves basically can't absorb the oxygen and nutrients that they need to actually regenerate and grow back. In other cases, because I'm going to stipulate basically that of 100% of people that have neuropathy, 90% of them will respond to my treatment. But 10% of the time, it can actually be from an injury in a spinal cord or something this way that will mimic the type of neuropathy, and cause the loss of sensation from that aspect. But the problem isn't actually at the skin level. It's actually in the spinal cord. What I do in those situations, this is not going to work. And so these are the things that we need to be able to ascertain during the evaluation on whether or not this is going to be a benefit to them. And this is the reason that I do offer the free consultation. It does take about 90 minutes so that I can determine whether or not what we do is going to be of benefit to an individual.
Here's a letter on conventional medications. It said conventional treatments are the use of medications. How well they work, and are they approved for all forms of neuropathy?
The overall question is that the main one that is used is gabapentin. It is a anti-seizure medication. It was developed and approved by the FDA for seizures in 1993. Came under the brand name of Neurontin. Since then, now it's called gabapentin and the generic from that aspect. Studies basically show that about 20 to 25% of people that are on it will get at least a 50% reduction in their symptoms. But new research that was just released, the utilization of gabapentin after a 10-year period of time increases a person's chances of developing dementia. Now, there are studies out there that show that gabapentin does not cause dementia. The problem is, as I said, it was developed in 93. The study that says that it doesn't cause dementia was done in 97. So people were only on it for 4 years, and apparently the dementia doesn't start until about 10 years in. This is a new study. They did 26,000 people that they reviewed their cases. Familiar with it due to the fact that I'm a graduate of Arizona State University, and ASU was one of the participants in doing this study and putting this research together. But this was just published here at the beginning of this last month. But gabapentin itself, unfortunately, has a lot of side effects. Our treatments have no side effects other than the fact that people start to get better.
Hey, I'll take that one. How about, does it disrupt sleep at all?
Yes, because of the fact, particularly between 2 and 5 in the morning, for some reason, that what ends up happening is these nerves, as I said, they fire on their own. And so it's not unusual that in periods of relaxation, and particularly this may be the first people will start to notice it is during their sleep, is due to the fact that they, as I said, they still have normal nerve endings. So when you're up on your feet and have your socks and your shoes on and you're doing things, the normal nerves that are there are being stimulated and kind of override that abnormal sensation. And so at night, when we're not stimulating those normal nerves, the abnormal ones become more dominant at that time. That can cause the numbness and tingling and burning sensations and often become very disruptive in someone's sleep.
Here's one from Sharon. She wants to know, this is probably a dumb question, but maybe there's others out here like me. First of all, I love listening to your show. This is my second show I've listened to. I think my mother has neuropathy. I have been trying to talk her into making an appointment with you, and she's always got an excuse. Any ideas what I can tell her to scare her to come in?
Basically, I would tell you that neuropathy is a progressive disease. Whatever she's experiencing at this particular time, in 1 to 3 years from now, it's probably going to be twice as bad. The earlier we can catch it, the better the results are. If I can catch somebody that only has a 30 to 40% loss of sensation when they come in, generally within a 6 to 8 month period of time, we can get them back to pretty much normal. And not only that, our treatment protocol is something basically that is done at home so that people can continue to keep doing it. And once we get them back to that 100%, most times without other health issues coming into play, we can maintain that for the rest of their lives.
How long is the program? How long do you have to do, say, at home?
Depends on the situation. For the rest of your life, to some degree. Okay. My healing stage, we have them doing it on a daily basis. Maintenance basically is doing it 1 or 2 times a week, depending on the severity of what they're dealing with and the causes of what, if we've been able to determine a cause. The problem that we have with that is 30 to 40% of people that have neuropathy have idiopathic neuropathy, which is a fancy word for I don't know. All I know is that you've got it. So basically that causes in those situations, somebody may need to do this a couple times a week to maintain it once we finally get to that particular endpoint to maintain the results. But those are the things that we determine as we go through the protocol. Even though, as I said, the treatment is actually done at home, I'm still actively involved in it until we get to that particular point where we have the stabilization.
Is there an age demographic?
10 years ago, I would have told you yes. Most all of my patients were 70 or older. This year, I'm having people coming in their 30s.
Wow.
So Basically, it's becoming more prominent. Not exactly sure what the causes of this is from that aspect, but it's kind of just in a way rather discouraging for me to have somebody that's coming in at the age of 30,
Right.
starting to develop neuropathy, that knowing what road they've got to go on, but um, not understanding why we're starting to develop these particular cases now. But it is essential, basically, that if they do start to develop this, that we get them in and get started on the treatment so that it does not progress.
What about male, female? Is there a demographic?
Doesn't seem to be that. Overall, it seems to be affected men and women equally the same. Women are more likely to do something about it earlier. That men have a tendency that, oh, it might get better on its own. Those are some of the most dangerous words that most people hear.
What about supplements? Are there any supplements out there that would help with your program?
Sure, there are some things that can benefit not only my program, but benefit to help to reduce some of the problems right now. ALA, alpha lipoic acid, can help to soothe some of the nerves. It doesn't actually do anything to actually reverse the neuropathy, but it can be very soothing. Some people that have a B12 deficiency, by increasing their B12, uh, can uh, can end up having some benefit from that aspect. Be cautious of taking a B complex overall, just due to the fact that too much B6 can actually cause neuropathy. So you want to look and make sure that if you are taking a B complex, that you're not taking an overabundance of B6 if you do have neuropathy, because that actually can extenuate the problems from that aspect. That L-arginine and L-carotene combined can help with increasing nitric oxide, but nitric oxide increases oxygenation into the tissues. But there are some supplements out there that are actually good to increase your nitric oxide levels overall. That, as I said, that they've discovered that some beet supplements, not all of them are going to work, but there are test strips that you can get on Amazon and that from Berkeley Life or a company called Human, to test your nitric oxide. And so that if you are taking a supplement, I would recommend that you do get those test strips to see whether or not the supplement's actually going to work. That there's, I'd say, probably hundreds of beet supplements and that to increase nitric oxide on the market today. And I found very few of them actually work long term.
Do you have to change your diet once you are diagnosed with neuropathy?
It will help, particularly in the very beginning stages, due to the fact that even diabetes is the number one cause that causes neuropathy. But once you've got neuropathy, even from another cause, someone might find that if they eat a lot of carbohydrates or sugars, drink alcohol, that it can aggravate their neuropathy. I think I probably told this story before, that here 11, 12 years ago, when I had a new patient came to work for me, that we were at that time still doing the treatments in office, that we had not learned that we weren't curing neuropathy, we were only treating it. And so now that we've realized we only have a treatment for it, we've gone to the home treatment protocol. But at that time, on the Friday after Thanksgiving, I'd taken the day off and I had my new person come in and treat the patients. And she called me at noon to tell me that everybody was worse that day, no matter what their cause of the neuropathy. And it was due to the fact that on Thanksgiving, they all ate and drank all kinds of stuff that they normally wouldn't do on a day-to-day basis, increase their carbohydrate intake with the pumpkin pies and different things this way, and it irritated their neuropathy the day after. So yes, monitoring your intake of carbohydrates and sugars can be very beneficial in soothing some of the aspects of what you're dealing with. Also, people will find that if they go into a high altitude, that here in Phoenix, Greater Phoenix area, we're about 1,200 feet above sea level. But if you go up to Flagstaff, where you're a mile higher, people's neuropathy will get worse just due to the fact that there's less oxygen in the air. And that actually can cause an irritation of the nerves.
And if you see me, I keep turning my head. We are being inundated by text messages. I'm sorry, this is the last one we can get in, but hey, I love your show. Thank you for the information. What signs should I look for in the beginning that I could have neuropathy?
Generally, if numbness is the primary thing that'll start to come.
In the
tingling
feet.
In the feet, sometimes in the hands, feeling like your feet are going to sleep, even though you're not in a position where that would cause that generally. Getting a sharp shooting pain reoccurring in the same area with increasing more frequency can be instantaneous ideas of that. If you find that when you close your eyes in the shower to wash your hair, you feel unstable, that's a very good sign that you're starting to develop neuropathy, because you're starting to become dependent on your depth perception to maintain your balance, because your feet are not relaying back where you should have your body in its position.
Dr. Sars, I love the way the information you give. It just flows. And like I said, we're so lucky to have you. How do people reach your office?
Well, you can go to my website, isneuropathycurable.com. You can call us at 480-556-1358. I answer the phone. That phone is answered from 7 a.m. until 8 p.m., 7 days a week. Outside of office hours, if you call, I am going to be the one that answers it. So don't be surprised. You're not interrupting me. My wife's been married to me for 43 years. She's figured out who I am, and we're going to. So basically, I'm here so that if you've got questions, that feel free to call. As I said, I do offer a free consultation. It does take about 90 minutes, maybe a little bit more, depending on the situations. We see new patients on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. That I am only open 3 days a week. That I am in my early 70s, so that's my retirement.
You don't look it. Good news is Dr. Sars is with us every month. He'll be back again with us next month. Dr. Sars, have a wonderful holiday. We appreciate you so much.
All right, Steve. Thank you.
Thank you, bud. That's Dr. Patrick Sars. All right, that's going to do it for us today. Thank you, Juan. Great work as always. And we'll see you next week with more Ask the Experts.
Thanks for tuning in today to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. Tune in next week and every week to hear more from our experts on personal injury, insurance, air condition repairs, estate planning, Medicare, and many other topics in the areas of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. See you next week.